So in previous lecture we have seen the ICP and DCP source, its working construction and the application of each sources. So that are the plasma sources, DCP and ICP. Next is the arc and spark sources, that is the electrical sources. But these plasma sources are the quite new sources which are generally used generally, and these electrical discharge sources or arc and spark sources are the old sources which are there. Okay, so we will see that electrical discharge sources. Okay, so there is one point that I have forget to mention in the ICP. Okay, so here we are seeing the in this table we are seeing the number of elements that can be determined by using various techniques. Okay, so there are in this table we have given the four techniques. One is ICP and another three are related with the flame techniques. Okay, so out of this we are having the flame emission techniques that we have demonstrated in our lab. Okay, so among the these all four techniques, ICP is being superior at low concentration. Okay, in this table we can see if the concentration is like below 100 ppm or ppb. Okay, so up to that we can be able to determine the large amount of elements. Okay, but if we compare that same with low concentration with other flame techniques, then we are not being able to determine the large amount of elements. So these techniques like ICP and DCP sources are quite useful for the determination of elements at quite low concentration, and the concentration, if the concentration is quite high, then we can switch over to the flame emission techniques. So based upon the detection limit that we required for the particular element, we can switch over ICP source or the flame emission technique. Okay, and all of these techniques are used for what? All of these techniques are used for just to excite the ions. Okay, so that limitation will be depending upon the concentration of ions. Okay, so this table is quite useful for the comparison of ICP techniques or the plasma sources with the our regular flame emission techniques. Okay, so next is the emission spectroscopy based upon the arc and spark sources or the electrical discharge sources. So arc and spark sources are the electrical discharge sources. Okay, so these arc and spark sources are the first used for the instrumental analysis. These are the quite older techniques. Okay, so around 1920s these instruments or the arc and spark sources were used for the excitation of elements. So as the name suggesting, like arc and spark, there must be like electrical arcs with very high voltage. So we know this meaning of this arc and spark. Okay, so in rainy season we might experience some shock. Okay, so that shock is due to the uh, moisture content in the switches or some electrical equipments. So once we touch that electrical equipment, we get experience that little bit of current. Okay, so that current is due to the arcs, simple arc. Okay, that current is not that much big, but if we compare the uh, like uh, thunderstorms or the lightning, natural lightning, so at that time the current is around a few thousands of voltage. Okay, so that is very big current in the natural lightning. Okay, so that is arc. So these techniques are quite older techniques, arc and spark techniques, and here we are going to generate the arc by using very high voltage. Okay, so for generation of arc we using the very high voltage. So these two techniques are useful for the qualitative and quantitative determination of metallic elements in the variety of samples. Okay, again there's same for that ICP or DCP sources that can also be utilized, but the main limitation of this arc sources or spark sources is that they cannot be used for the liquid and gaseous materials. Okay, so these arc sources or electrical sources are generally useful for the solid elements. Okay, so this solid elements like what? Metals, alloys, soils, minerals or rock samples. So these samples are used for metals, but its applications are gradually decreasing as advance in the plasma sources is going on. The use of arc and spark sources is gradually decreasing, and they are get replaced by using plasma sources. Okay, so plasma sources are quite superior over this electrical discharge sources, and they get replaced as the time is progressing. So the excitation in the arc and spark sources is done by using the pair of electrodes. Okay, again for the excitation we will be requiring the two electrodes, in the ICP also, DCP also, we are using the in ICP we are using the radio frequency coil and gases, and in DCP we are using two electrodes as an arm and one central electrode of tungsten, two graphite electrode anode. Okay, so there we are using the three electrodes, but in the spark or arc sources we can use the two electrode or pair of electrodes through which the passage of electric current is carried out. Okay, so for generation of arc, there are the quite demonstration videos available on YouTube. You can see that videos. Okay, how to generate that arc. So basic that arc generation is shown in that demonstration videos. So basically what is done there, the two electrodes having the very high voltage are come into contact with very close to each other. So once they come to close to each other, the gases or the moisture present in the air will ionize, and the charges get transferred from one electrode to the another electrode. So whole thing is that the current is going flown between the two electrodes. Okay, so for the excitation of our ions, one thing is that two electrodes must be in close contact with each other with very high voltage. So the passage of electricity from the electrodes through the gap which produces the necessary energy so as to atomize the sample and produce the atoms or ions in the electronically excited state. So for generation of emission spectrum, we require first first thing is like atomization of the given sample, which can be done by using very high voltage or very high temperature that is generated once that ions are get formed due to the electric arc. So once that atomization is done, then ionization will be takes place, and the last thing will be the emission spectrum will be recorded once that excited ion get de-excited into its ground state. Okay, so overall we can say that arc and spark sources uses the electrical method for the excitation of ions. Okay, सो बघा याच्यामध्ये बेसिकली आर्क आणि स्पार्क सोर्सेस आहेत ते फर्स्ट दीज आर दी क्वाईट ओल्डर सोर्सेस. ओके, क्वाईट ओल्डर सोर्सेस, आणि याच्यापेक्षा सुपेरियर सोर्सेस म्हणजे आपल्याला one is our ICP and another one is DCP. Okay, and the main uses of this or the limitation of arc and spark sources, we can say that arc and spark sources is only applicable for solid sample up to now. Okay, so but our DCP ICP sources can be useful for the our solid, liquid as well as gaseous sample. Again, that spark sources will uses two types of electrodes. Okay, two pair of electrode. Okay, so that the arc is developed. Okay, arc is sometime the electrical, okay, charge or the electrical flow through the gaseous medium. Okay, or the atmospheric medium. So generally we can see the lightning. Okay, जशी वीज चमकते वगैरे आकाशामध्ये, त्या टाइप मध्येच आपण इलेक्ट्रिक आर्क जनरेट करणार आहोत by using the two electrodes. Okay, but to generate this arc we will be having the electrode in close contact with each other, otherwise there will not be a flow of current because the resistance of air is quite high. So there must be like close contact with each other. Okay, so that is the arc. So the important aspect to be considered here is the what is the meaning of arc and spark. and what are the limitations of these arc spark sources, and for which sample like metals, alloys or the minerals that these sources are useful. Okay, so like we have seen, so sample or sample holding for this arc and spark sources is quite complex. Okay, so here we need to understand the, for particular sample we need to understand which method will gives you the better result for particular sample. Okay, so for metal as well as non-metals we will be required to have the separate sampling method or the sample preparation method for this analysis. Okay, so this will again comes out to be one limitation, okay, for these techniques. So for particular element as well as per particular its composition, we need to check whether the given sample handling will give you the better result or not. Okay, so currently this arc and spark sources method are mostly limited to the elemental analysis of solid elements, because the liquids and gaseous elements are handled so much more conveniently by the plasma emission method. Okay, so we have seen this, okay, how to handle this gaseous and liquid sample into the plasma sources. So these electric discharge sources are useful for the solid sample, and again the solid will be of two types. One is metallic solids and another one is the non-metallic solids. So first we will see, okay, first we will see how to handle the metals, okay, for the this electrical discharge sources. So for handling of the metals, okay, for handling of the metals here, for metals the metal might be in the pure form or in the alloy form. So one or both of the electrode, that there are the two electrode for the arc generation. So one or both of these electrode can be formed from the sample elements by milling or turning or by the casting the molten metal into the mold. Okay, so for formation of the electrode we might be use the, or we can simply use the sample material. So there are the three methods by which we can form the electrode of sample, that is by milling or by turning method or by casting the molten metal into the mold. Okay, so the electrode which will be shaped as a cylindrical rod which is 1/8 or the 1/4 part of the inches in diameter. Okay, so it's quite smaller and the cylindrical shape electrode is formed for the particular element, and that electrode is then again tapered at the one end. Okay, so some tapered means again we get cut that electrode at one particular end for the analysis. Okay, next is for the some sample it is more convenient to use the polish or flat surfaces. So it depends upon the properties of particular elements. So it like for some elements we can generate the, or we can form the electrode by milling or turning or casting process, or for some other elements it's like quite convenient to use the polish or flat surface electrode. So there we not need not to be make any uh, tapered. Okay, tapered. So for the one electrode is quite polish and flat surface electrode, and another one electrode which is tapered cylindrical graphite electrode or the metal rod as the other. Okay, so there are like two methods for the analysis. So it's depend upon the completely depend upon the property of element. So regardless of the ultimate shape of the sample, its surface must not be get contaminated during the preparation of our electrodes. Okay, otherwise the contamination will be introduced into this samples. So first, this for generation of metal or to handle the metal elements, what we required is, so याच्यामध्ये तीन प्रोसेसेस आहेत, मिलिंग, टर्निंग अँड कास्टिंग. ओके, सो या तीन प्रोसेस यूज करून we can generate the electrode. So the shape of electrode is cylindrical. आणि याची डायमीटर असणार तो 1/8 or 1/4 part of the inch, and the electrode which is tapered along the one end for the sample introduction. Okay, and the second method for the another types of elements is we can use the polish as well as flat surface. Okay, but the main care should be taken for the preparation of sample is that the surface must not get contaminated while it is being formed. सो सपोज करा याच्यामध्ये कॉन्टॅमिनेशन झालं तर पुढे जे आपण ॲनालिसिस करणार त्याच्यामध्ये आपल्याला ऑब्वियसली एरर भेटणार आहे. ठीक आहे. सो फॉर एलिमिनेशन ऑफ दॅट एरर we have to make sure that there is no contamination during the preparation of sample. Okay, so this is the preparation for sample for metallic elements. Next is for non-metallic elements or the non-metallic solids. For non-metallic solids, again we are using the generally carbon as the carbon electrode. Okay, which is ideal electrode for the non-metals. So for non-metallic element, the sample. Okay, so for non-metallic elements, okay, so for non-metallic elements we using the sample which is often supported on the electrode whose emission spectrum will not be interfering with the analysis. Okay, so this is the important thing. So emission spectrum of our supporting electrolyte should not be interfere with the our analyte spectrum. So basically we generally use the carbon as an ideal electrode for the many application. So the carbon can be obtained in the pure form. Okay, it's easily like quite naturally available in the pure form. It is also a good conductor of electricity like graphite allotrope of carbon is good conductor. Also it is a good resistance for the heat, and it can be easily shaped as the required electrode shape. Okay, so manufacturer offer the carbon electrode in many size, shape and forms. Frequently one of the electrode in the cylindrical form with the small crater which is drilled at the one end is generally used for the our analysis purpose. Okay, so what are the various types of this non-metallic or the carbon electrode that we can see in next lecture. Okay.